Well, when you fight corruption, corruption fights back. Nuhu Ribadu. Viva Frei, former Montreal litigator turned rumbler, and my goodness, when you fight corruption, corruption fights back, and the machine that is the Matrix has decided it is coming for Tucker Carlson, and it is coming hard and relentlessly. For those of you who have been living under a rock for the last couple of weeks, Tucker Carlson, the only individual worth watching on Fox News, was fired by Fox News, unceremoniously canned, according to recent reports. We don't know why, but we are left hypothesizing. Some are thinking it had to do with the Dominion near $1 billion settlement. Others are thinking it had to do with the fact that Tucker Carlson ostensibly called out Fox News' biggest supporters, biggest financiers, Big Pharma.
If Fox News did that, what would you think of Fox News? Would you trust us? Of course you wouldn't. You would know that we were liars.
Others are thinking it has to do with the 2024 upcoming elections, and the machine that doesn't want to see Donald Trump back in office is doing everything it can to silence every populist voice remaining. But Fox News, after entering into the near $800 million settlement with Dominion Voting Systems as a result of the defamation lawsuit filed against it by Dominion, they then make another $1 billion mistake and fire Tucker Carlson. They're obviously by far the most popular person on that channel. I tell you now, I will not watch another thing from Fox News. I will only surf the news on Fox News to make fun of them, and they have lost a massive amount of viewership, which apparently is translating into a greater number than their outlandish, ridiculous $800 million settlement with Dominion. But when the system decides it's going to crush you, it's not enough to unceremoniously can you. It's not enough to fire you, take away your livelihood. They have to destroy who you are as a very human being. They need to destroy you, crush you, pulverize you. And they're trying to do that with Tucker Carlson, because right now, in the wake of Tucker Carlson's firing, you have Fox News, for whatever the reason, working with Media Matters for America, a George Soros-funded watchdog group, a highly progressive George Soros-funded watchdog group. Fox News is working with Media Matters for America, apparently leaking to Media Matters video footage, undisclosed video footage that they think is going to make Tucker Carlson look bad. And I've been covering it, and I got to tell you, my goodness, I'm watching these videos of Tucker Carlson that Fox News is leaking to Media Matters, thinking it's going to take down Tucker Carlson, and all I can say is I like Tucker Carlson more after each video that they have leaked to Media Matters, thinking it's going to destroy Tucker Carlson. So after leaking video footage of Tucker Carlson complaining about the crappy quality of Fox, what is that thing that Fox Nation, after leaking a video of Tucker Carlson patiently, understandingly complaining about the crappy quality of Fox Nation, complaining about the fact that he is being asked to conduct a very important interview, not in his traditional suit and tie, which is a bit of a step up from his suit and bow tie, but not in his suit and tie, but in a sweater because the guest was told not to wear a suit. And Tucker Carlson is saying, look, your Fox Nation app, the whole platform sucks. It's doing no justice to the work I'm doing. After that video comes out, which makes him look very patient, very understanding in the way that he was criticizing that product, they leaked another video, which was him making something, I don't know, of a crude joke. If you're an absolute Puritan, well, that wasn't enough. Because apparently today, the leak of the day was a redacted text message from Tucker Carlson to his producer that was filed as an exhibit in the Dominion lawsuit. It was redacted, and somehow, miraculously, after Fox News settles with Dominion, this highly compromising, devastating text, which reveals Tucker Carlson's long-hidden racism, has been leaked to the public, unredacted. People who are familiar with the depositions say apparently Tucker Carlson was actually asked about this exhibit in his deposition. The document, which was filed as an exhibit, was redacted. Somehow it's leaked to the press. And today, the news of the day is Tucker Carlson makes a racist remark in a text message to his producer. From the New York Times, Carlson's text that alarmed Fox leaders, quote, "It's not how white men fight." And the news everywhere, the headlines everywhere, Tucker makes racist remark, and you'll be lucky to find the text in its entirety in any reporting, if you get far enough into the reporting to actually read the text in its entirety, because most people are just going to read the headlines and say, oh my goodness, Tucker Carlson said, it's not how white men fight. That's so racist. If you read the actual text, which we will, you will see that it is only arguably offensive if you decide to take offense from it, and what it is actually actually more so is a man reflecting on his inner desires, his initial reflexive responses to take pleasure in the suffering of others that he doesn't like politically, putting himself in check and saying, no, this is not how people behave. If I allow myself to be consumed by hatred, I become no better than the people that we are fighting. Now, the New York Times is reporting that this text message was apparently only discovered by the board of Fox News on the Sunday before the trial was set to begin, and it caught them off guard, and it set in motion a chain of events that led to the settlement, that led to Tucker Carlson being unceremoniously canned. There's a number of things being reported in this story that just don't make any sense whatsoever. First and foremost is how Fox News was unaware of this allegedly devastating text message from Tucker Carlson to his producer. From the New York Times, a text message sent by Tucker Carlson that set off a panic at the highest levels of Fox on the eve of its billion-dollar defamation trial showed its most popular host sharing his private, inflammatory views about violence and race. The argument behind the record-breaking near $800 million defamation settlement is that if it went to trial, what would be revealed at trial would be devastating for Fox News, so they settled so that they would avoid revealing devastating information during the trial. And yet somehow, after settling for near $800 million, after firing Tucker Carlson, Fox News themselves seem to be participating in leaking some of that devastating information to Media Matters for America, and other players seemingly either for Fox News or involved in the process are leaking the other devastating information that they paid $800 million so it would not see the light of day. Nothing about this story makes any sense except for the fact that they're trying to destroy Tucker Carlson because he is the last populist voice for the people of America. Even more interesting is that this text message was redacted as an exhibit in the lawsuit, because even if you take for granted that it reveals that Tucker Carlson is a frothing at the mouth, rabid racist, it had nothing to do with the defamation lawsuit. So if it were to be filed, they redacted the portion of that text message that had nothing to do with the defamation, probably because the probative value of that piece of evidence, that exhibit, would be far weaker than the prejudicial element of that text message, in that it might make you hate Tucker Carlson for being a big bad racist, but that would have nothing to do with the legal basis of the defamation lawsuit. Whatever, it was redacted. It wasn't even clear that the jury would have seen this allegedly big bad racist text, even had this matter gone to trial for the reasons I just explained. From the Fox News article, it was not guaranteed that the text would have been revealed in open court. Dominion's lawyers had still not decided whether they would introduce the text in front of the jury, according to people with knowledge of their plans. Now, before I get into my assessment of the text message itself, I think out of fairness to Tucker Carlson and out of fairness to the truth, it bears reading through this entire text message so that everybody can know exactly what the entire text message says. A couple of weeks ago, I was watching video of people fighting on the street in Washington. A group of Trump guys surrounded an Antifa kid and started pounding the living shit out of him. It was 3 against 1 at least. Jumping a guy like that is dishonorable, obviously. It's not how white men fight. Yet suddenly I found myself rooting for the mob against the man, hoping they'd hit him harder, kill him. I really wanted them to hurt the kid. I could taste it. Then somewhere deep in my brain, an alarm went off. This isn't good for me. I'm becoming something I don't want to be. The Antifa creep is a human being. Much as I despise what he says and does, much as I'm sure I'd hate him personally if I knew him, I shouldn't gloat over his suffering. I should be bothered by it. I should remember that somewhere somebody probably loves this kid and would be crushed if he was killed. If I don't care about those things, if I reduce people to their politics, how am I better than he is? Can we just stop for a moment and appreciate what legacy media is trying to do to Tucker Carlson right here? They're trying to destroy an individual, reduce a complex being that has been on this earth for decades, reduce him to the label of racist because of one potentially poorly drafted sentence in a private text message to his producer. It's not how white men fight in the context of a text message in which he lamented, in which he criticized himself for having negative thoughts, wishing ill on others, saying that it reduces him to no better than his enemy. This man, his entire existence, destroyed, reduced to a label because of one sentence in a private text message. I mean, it's not like this guy said, you know, like poor kids could be just as smart and talented as white kids.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
It's not like this guy wrote off an entire community as not having fathers, being born out of wedlock, being prone to violence, taking lead pipes to women's heads, not having a fully developed conscience. I mean, it's not like he said things like that. When you say things like that, you become president.
It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. Tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing,
It is patently obvious that something bigger is going on here. The attacks, the smears against Tucker Carlson, they are not normal. They are not explained by money. They are only explained by the pursuit of power, because that is exactly what is going on right here. This is not about money. It's beyond money. This is not about virtue, because Fox has none of it. This is about controlling the voice, controlling the narrative. If one thing is clear, it's that Fox News never liked Trump to begin with, and Tucker Carlson was the last populist voice of interest worth watching on Fox News. They don't care about the money because they are burning it. They are setting it on fire right now. They don't care about their legacy because they are crushing it. They are destroying it right now. What they care about is controlling the narrative and controlling the fight for power. I don't know what you think about the text message, reading it to yourself. I know there has to be a bit of a broader context to that text message. It's not like normal people always just write these long diatribes of text messages to their producers. Quite clearly something else was going on. There is a broader context that I suspect might put that text message into more understandable context. We will see what comes out later on. But what's clear right now, this is an all-out war on Tucker Carlson. This is an all-out war on the American people. I hope everybody is paying attention. And with that said, if you like my videos, you like my content, please be sure to like, share,
What is that noise?
be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you want to support me and Robert Barnes, you know where to go. vivabarneslaw.locals.com. But more important than anything, check in on friends and family. Make sure everyone around you is doing well. And now you know your vlog. Peace out. Booyah!
Just frustrated with it's hard to use that site. I don't know why they're not fixing it. It's driving me insane. And they're like making like Lifetime movies, but they don't work on the infrastructure of the site. Like what? It's crazy, and it drives me crazy because it's like we're doing all this extra work and no one can find it. It's unbelievable, actually. I don't know who runs that site, but I know. But we're doing our part. We're like working like animals to produce all this content, and the people in charge of it, whoever that guy's, whatever his name is, like they're ignoring the fact that the site doesn't work, and I think it's like a betrayal of our efforts. That's how I feel. So of course, I resent it.